Hi, I'm Emma from Honeybuns Bakery and welcome to another one of our lockdown baking sessions. They're designed to bring you really easy recipes, super adaptable ones that are super tasty. Everything is naturally gluten free, and we also do a range of vegan and dairy free. Today this recipe has got butter in, has got egg in it, and it's gluten free. It also contains nuts. It's based on our really good selling lemon and ginger polenta shortbread. You can buy this online if you don't want to make your own. It is an adaptation of that recipe, and you can find in Honeybuns cookbook number 1, the gluten-free baking book, you can find a recipe that will resemble what I'm doing now in here as well, and we'll also stick it on a blog for you so you can access it for free, so I hope it helps. So we start off with polenta. There's 140 grams of this. This is the dried stuff, not to be confused with the blocks of pre-cooked polenta. 170 grams of ground nuts. I've chosen ground almonds. I know in the recipe it depicts a blend of ground hazelnut and ground almond. You don't have to worry about that. Any ground nuts that you like. Hazelnut works well. Almond we love. I love that combination of almond and polenta. 40 grams of chopped nuts, roughly chopped. You can do it yourself or you can buy them pre-chopped. Better toasted, so you can stick them in a hot oven for 5 minutes on 200 degrees C just to bring out the flavour more. I've used ground almonds, but use whatever you fancy. 125 grams of light brown sugar, granulated, but if you prefer to use other crystallised sugars, that's absolutely fine, whatever you prefer. 1 free range egg, medium if you can. £125 grams of butter. I'm using salted, but you can use unsalted, and you just need to add a pinch of salt to taste if you're doing that. I've left this to soften, and it's a really gorgeous summer's day now, so it's softened at room temperature. And a teaspoon of ground ginger, which I'll improvise because I don't want to go out of shop for the teaspoon. There we are, that'll do just fine. Now you can use what I'd call a planetary mixer. What I mean by that is one of the Kenwoods or KitchenAids on tabletop. I realise not everybody has those, and this works just as well, so little handheld electric mixer. You can also do this by hand. If your butter is soft enough, then you can do it with a wooden spoon, and it'll just give you a little bit of exercise, cardio exercise. To this consistency, which I would say is coarser than breadcrumb, you've got fluffy bits there, but you've also still got clumpy bits, which it's kind of like how you'd expect an apple crumble topping to look. Then with clean hands, work the dough in together. Like I say, if you're putting it in a Kenwood mixer or similar other brands available, then you could go the whole hog with the mixer and you wouldn't need to get hands on. But with these little electric ones, you get to a stage where you do really have to get your hands dirty. It's a lovely, lovely mix to work with. The only thing I would say, the only variable really is the size of the eggs, which seems like a funny thing to say, but because that's your binding agent, if you find that the mix isn't coming together like that, which is what it's supposed to do in a ball, like so, and you can tell that took me a minute and a half, so you shouldn't be struggling to get it to bind. If you are finding it difficult, you may need to crack another egg in a separate bowl, whisk it up, and then decant a little bit of the egg mixture. I wouldn't just crack an egg straight into the mixture because you might over egg your ingredients, sorry about that, but just add a little bit as you go and it should come together beautifully. It's really malleable, really easy to handle, it's not particularly sticky. And then what you do is wash your hands. And here's one that I did earlier. Any of you who might have seen previous videos that we've done, we do also use disposable foil trays, which are lazy. We use them because we have them in the bakery in stock. Not all of you are going to have access to those, or you'd rather not want to use those. If you are using a baking tray, then just pop in some silicone paper. If you haven't got silicone paper, you can brush your baking tray directly with molten butter and then press the dough out. The way that I did it, I sectioned off the dough into quarters and I put 1/4 in each corner of the baking tray, and then using a spoon, the back of it, I smoothed it over, not particularly well, as I'm sure that some of you will point out to me. It's very rustic, but that's fine, that works just fine. Once that's cooled, so you're going to bake that, in a hot oven, preheated at 180 degrees C. The recipe says 20 minutes, but this oven that I'm using is pretty fast. It's fan assisted, so I stick on the timer at 15. You certainly don't want to go darker than that because you're going to be baking again. So if you do it too dark, it's going to catch on the bottom and be a little bit bitter. So yeah, I'd be cautious. 12 to 15 minutes I'd put it on for and see how you go. Once it's fully cooled down, you lavishly spread over the top, either, as the recipe calls for, a really posh, lovely lemon curd, or we've been working with the Baytree on using these new cocktail influence preserves. This one's absolutely delicious. So that's the mango passion mojito. It's got rum in it, lime, absolutely delicious. You have a play. They're available online from the Baytree Food Company. We really like them and we're using them as in trials for some new products at the moment, which is exciting. So then moving on to making your topping for this product. So for the topping for the lemon and ginger cake, what we're going to do is add the ingredients in a particular order. So everything bar the butter can go in now. So that includes 140 grams of granulated light brown sugar, but you can use any granulated sugar you prefer, white, demerara, anything goes really. 1 teaspoon of gluten-free baking powder, 125 grams of ground almonds, and this is again marrying up that lovely combination of ground almonds and polenta that we really love here at Honeybuns. 85 grams of the polenta, 4 tablespoons of we're using the mango passion mojito preserve that I mentioned earlier, but you can use lemon curd, lime marmalade, whatever you fancy. Our cake, the lemon and ginger that you buy on loan, has got lemon curd in it, so if you prefer that, that's what you need in this mixture. 2 free range eggs. These are a little bit haphazard because we buy them at the farm gate, so they do vary in size. Medium preferably if you can get them. Just from a time point of view, I'm going to skip zesting, but what you need is the zest of 2 lemons. These are unwaxed, and the juice of 1 lemon that go into your mixture. I mentioned the order of ingredients because you then melt your butter, which is 140 grams, and you don't want to add this whilst it's hot to the eggs, otherwise you're going to scramble them. So that's why you set aside the molten butter till it's cool and then tip that in. And then we're going to whiz it up using aforementioned electric mixer. And always a good idea to scrape round the mixing bowl to make sure you've got everything incorporated. Give it another whiz round. And it's really that easy. So it's a pourable mix, which you then carefully, with the base, let's pretend that we've spread the lemon curd over this, you're then going to dollop this on top and spread it carefully using either the back of your spoon or a palette knife. You want to just spread very, very gently so that you're not then over mixing the curd that lies beneath the topping. There's a little bit of a knack to it, but you'll get the hang of it. Then this goes back into the oven for 20 to 25 minutes at 180 degrees C. And I'll show you the finished product. I keep saying product, so it's terribly formal. I mean cake, it's because I've got Honeybuns hat on. So I've cheated here. These were pre-wrapped cakes. I've got to fess up to that. I didn't have time to do a pre-done one, but that's what you'll end up with. And I'll just pick out a slice for you so that you can see the layers and how that works. So you've got that gorgeous polenta and almond shortbread base that you made first of all. You've then got a layer that you can't easily identify, but there's a layer in there of lemon curd on top of the base, and then you've got your lemon frangipane topping. One thing I know that I have forgotten actually, so I didn't add the juice and the zest deliberately just to save time, but you also need to punk up the lemon a little bit with a pure cold pressed lemon oil, not a horrible artificial flavouring, but a pure cold pressed lemon oil. A really good brand is Boagian, and you can find that at Lakeland online as well. So a really, really delicious cake as it is. You can also stick it in the microwave for a minute to heat it up, or in a preheated oven for 4 minutes, and serve warm with a dollop of something lovely as a pudding. I hope this helps, and thank you for watching. If you do like the video and the other ones that we've done, we'd absolutely love it if you shared them with friends and family. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.